Hello, this is Kate, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. So today I'm going to be using the Cosmic Tarot, and it's a new deck of mine, so this is my second reading with it. So the first card that we've got representing the beginning of the week is the Emperor. And the Emperor is, to me, I think of kind of feeling a certain amount of limitation going into the beginning of the week. So feeling maybe as if you're kind of, not necessarily boxed in, but feeling as if there's certain barriers and limits that surround you that keep you from either achieving your full potential or having things the way that you want them to be. So this could be kind of an oppressive structure, like your job. You might feel limited inside your job. Or, I mean, it can also refer to government or society in general, or even feeling limited within a family, so feeling kind of a little bit confined. And I think there's a tendency with this card to want to kind of fight against those things that keep you feeling limited and confined. And the key here is to not so much put your energy into that, but to put your energy into making up your own rules. So you don't necessarily have to follow someone else's rules all the time. And instead of arguing with them and fighting against that, you want to go with your gut instinct in creating your own rules to live by. So really what this card has to do with is independence and finding a way to break out of those structures. Finding a way to break out of those structures in a way that feels empowering for you, so you're not wasting a bunch of energy kind of pushing and resisting, someone else's ideals, but you're creating your own ideals in the process. Okay, so moving on to the middle of the week. Okay, so just going back to this card, if you Monday, Tuesday, this card is going to represent Monday, Tuesday. So if you're feeling kind of limited or oppressed or stuck at the beginning of the week, it's just a reminder to really focus on thinking about what it is you want and what you can do within your power to change things, and put your focus there. And don't waste too much energy thinking about how horrible that feeling of limitation is. Okay, so moving on to Wednesday, Thursday, the middle of the week, we've got Prince of Pentacles. And Prince of Pentacles is all about being patient. It's when things, we might have a vision or an idea of how we want things to go, or what our goals are, or where we're going. And Prince of Pentacles will come up if we're not getting there fast enough. And if we're wanting to go faster and have, things happen a lot quickly than they are. So it's just reminding you to be patient, and it's also reminding you that you do have a very clear, direct idea of what it is that you're wanting and where you're going, and it's just a matter of kind of moving and taking the first step and speeding things up a little. And I'm going to say the same thing that I said for the previous card, is the more you fight something, the more energy you give that thing that you're fighting against. So if you feel like things aren't moving quickly enough, don't waste any energy pushing against that. Instead, kind of develop a sort of acceptance of that. So accept that you are where you are right now, and it's not that you don't, it's not that you aren't gonna, you're not gonna be there forever. You are gonna move on to something else. So when you're accepting it, it doesn't mean that you're agreeing that you want to be where you are, but you're kind of, you're reserving your energy, so you're not really struggling and pushing against what is and what is your current situation. So developing a certain kind of acceptance where you kind of relax into the reality of what is, and when you get to that place of being able to accept, and you stop pushing against things and fighting against things and trying really hard to make things happen, you allow that sense of flow back into your life. And you aren't as rigid and solid and blocked, so things can flow a lot easier. So not only will things pick up for you and go a lot smoothly, but it also makes being, stuck where you are a lot more comfortable if you're not worrying about where you are and then trying to fight it. Okay, so moving on to the weekend. Okay, and we've got Nine of Wands. Okay, so Nine of Wands is all about feeling defensive and feeling on guard. So you're feeling very guarded, very tense, very almost stiff and upright, as if you're kind of waiting for a disaster to happen. And I think the message here is that you're feeling unsafe and you're feeling guarded, but you don't have to be. So that's not necessarily the reality. How you feel and think is not necessarily reflective of what's actually going on. So I think the reminder here with this card is that you can relax a little. You can let down your guard. You don't always have to be guarded and tense. And I will point out that all three of these cards have a very strong masculine energy. But the energy is also one of being kind of solid, very stiff, very rigid, and somewhat stuck. That all these cards have that kind of energy. So I think mainly the reading is just reminding us that we can kind of think outside the box. We don't always need to be stuck in our ways of thinking, in our ways of being, and to maybe kind of question that a little bit and notice where it is that we're blocked in life. So not just where in our life things aren't flowing smoothly, but also noticing physically how we're feeling and if we have any blocks physically. So it could be muscle tension, feeling fatigued, or digestion problems, and just maybe starting there. So focusing on the physical blockages and ailments before you move on to the more spiritual and emotional stuff. So going back to the Nine of Wands, it's definitely a card of feeling guarded, feeling very tense. So it's just reminding us that it's okay, we can relax, and we can relax a little bit. So I'm going to draw one more card just to get clarity on this weekend card. Okay. Oh, nice. And we've got Princess of Cups. Okay, and Princess of Cups is a very almost kind of the opposite of the Nine of Wands. It's a very calm, kind of relaxed, soothing card. It has to do with listening to the voice of intuition, connecting with your spiritual self, and paying attention to dreams and feelings. It's all about feelings, feeling inspired, and kind of putting your energy into creative pursuits. But also being very thoughtful, being very careful, so not being really foolish, but being thoughtful. So I think one of the keys to getting past this feeling of being on guard and that feeling of defensiveness is to remain thoughtful. So, you don't have to, you can let your guard down, but you can remain thoughtful, and you can also pay attention to your feelings and, follow your instincts, following your intuition, but basically finding a way where you can relax a little bit, where you can relax, let your guard down, and focus on feeling safe. So whether that means doing affirmations or whether it means doing affirmations or just connecting with the divine, but you want to find a way to feel safe and to feel protected, so you don't feel so vulnerable. Okay, so taking a little bit of an overview with these cards. Like I mentioned earlier, they have a very masculine kind of energy. And the beginning of the week is going to be all about kind of developing your own rules and developing your own values to live by, and not so much rebelling against society or those in power and authority, but bringing bringing your own sense of power and authority into your life and making your own rules as you go along. And then coming to the Prince of Pentacles in the middle of the week, just being patient with yourself, accepting where you are right now, and just kind of making the most of it, even if it's not exactly where you want to be. And then Nine of Wands at the weekend, end of the week, it's all about feeling guarded, feeling defensive. So just kind of focusing on getting a real sense of calmness connectedness, and really focus on feeling safe and protected. There's actually a specific archangel, and I can't remember, I think it's Archangel Michael, and you can call on him for protection and any kind of shielding if you're feeling like you might be under some kind of psychic attack, or if you're just feeling really vulnerable and in need of protection, and that actually works really well and can really give you a real sense of safety and protectiveness in your life. Okay, so that's been your reading, so I hope you found it helpful, and my name is Kate, and thank you for joining me.